I've owned the M.Zuiko 90mm macro lens since last summer and I've used it quite a bit. And in this video I'm gonna give you my review after owning it for a few months and also after trying it on live insects. I was in Lisbon the other day and I used this lens together with the Godox V350 and AK Diffuser's new diffuser that folds completely flat, which I really like because it makes it so much easier to travel with it. As you know, I like to go to Southern Europe when there is winter in Sweden, and today I visited Parque de Monsanto in Lisbon, which is an awesome place to do macro photography from March and onwards. And Lisbon is a great place to do macro photography. It has some of the Mediterranean insect species that are unique to this area, and it has really good weather most of the year. Now in the beginning of March though, it is hard to do macro photography in the mornings. Typically you have to go out after lunch because then it is the warmest and then you will find a lot of insects. Most of them are resting and hiding before lunch. The M.Zuiko 90mm is a unique lens in the sense that it has a 180mm equivalent focal length and that it goes all the way to 2x magnification while having autofocus and automatic focus bracketing on the OM system. No other lens combines these pretty extreme features, which in some sense makes it the ultimate macro lens if you want the most flexible and powerful solution possible. So let's begin with the image quality. I would say the image quality is perfect. The only imperfections you will see in the photos in this video are due to the sensor or due to me. It is not due to the lens. It is extremely sharp. I have not noticed any visual problems such as chromatic aberration or anything like that. I would say that the image quality is as close to perfect as you can get. Most of the photos in this video are single shots, but I have a few stacks, and when there is a stack I have written it at the bottom of the photo. For example, this one is a stack, so you know. Many of the photos in this video are cropped as well, for example this one. And the reason for that is that it can sometimes be hard to get to 2x magnification with the autofocus. But towards the end of my trip to Lisbon I discovered this move, the shotgun move, which makes it very easy to go to the highest magnification. You just do like that and you get to 2x magnification because you switch to the manual focusing mode. But you don't want to stay in the manual focusing mode if you're doing stacking, because the stacking will not work in that mode, which is a little bit frustrating. So you have to be in autofocus mode if you want to do stacking. What I found also was that the autofocus works surprisingly well on the OM system, not only with this lens but with the 60mm as well. So I tend to use autofocus a lot. Then I use back button autofocus, so I push a button on the back of the camera to focus, and then I do the fine adjustments by moving the camera, as I usually do in manual focus macro photography. And I find that this way of doing it is very easy and the best way for me. I think that there is no question that this is a really excellent macro lens, perhaps the best macro lens in the world right now. The big question though is if you should buy this lens or if you should buy the much cheaper Olympus 60mm and a Raynox filter instead. Because with that combination you actually get up to 1.65 times magnification and excellent image quality, which I think is very hard to discern from the image quality on the 90mm. And you also get a much lighter and smaller lens if you use the 60mm and a Raynox filter. So I think that if you really need 2 times magnification, if 1.65 times is not enough for you, and if you really need to have the longest possible reach and the longest possible working distance, and if you also really need the ability to focus anywhere from infinity to 2 times magnification without taking off or putting on a Raynox filter, then the 90mm might be a really good choice for you. But I think that for 95% of insect macro photographers, actually the 60mm plus a Raynox filter is actually a better, more lightweight and a lot cheaper solution. I have now owned both the 60mm and the 90mm for a while, and I have used both of them extensively. And I have to conclude that to me personally the 90mm is my favorite, but it comes with its downsides. For example, it is pretty long and heavy, especially compared to the 60mm, and when you're shooting something for a while, like I did with this ladybug here, I stood here for like 5-10 minutes trying to get the best possible shot, then it gets really tiring for your hand to hold this very long and pretty heavy lens. I would much rather have held the 60mm in this situation, because then I wouldn't have gotten as tired, and also it would have been easier to compose some of the photos because that lens is so small and lightweight. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your macro lens. Other than that, I can just say that the M.Zuiko 90mm is probably the best macro lens in the world right now. Of course, it's only available if you're using the Micro Four Thirds system. If you are using other camera systems, I would probably look into the Laowa lenses instead, because they have also really high magnification and really good image quality. Thank you for watching this video, and do subscribe to my channel for more macro photography and insect photography videos.